the weather pattern for the next couple of days is going to get very interesting, so you need to listen up here. We have a slight risk, a marginal, and all that stuff. So let's get straight into the forecast. All right, we're back. Today's Friday, August 21st, 2026. We got many slight risks today. We got to first talk about our slight risk today. Look at all of that. So we do have 3 slight risks in there that kind of look like a scary face. Let's first talk about down here. So we do have a marginal risk for Shreveport, Tyler, Longview, Eastern Dallas, New Orleans, Mobile, Crestview, Montgomery, Columbus, Macon, Berwyn, Atlanta, east side of towns, and that Athens, Asheville, Greensboro, Northern Raleigh, Northern Greenville, Manteno, south side of Virginia, Beath, and Wilmington, and Charleston. We're including that. And Savannah, Georgia. Can't forget about that. That's our only marginal risk. Everyone out here will all talk about. So if you were watching my stream last night, I said there's probably gonna be an upgrade of a slight risk, and I did the same position. Literally, I did it like this. I was like, it has to be like that. So I was right. I was right, boy. I was right. So that was pretty good. But yeah, let's talk about it. Raleigh, we're in that. Greenville, Jacksonville, Florence, Augusta, and Charlotte, we're including that. Rockingham, Fayetteville, Clinton, and Whiteville, Dillon, we're all including that. We have up to 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts with a nice depleted water spout and maybe a little bit of a tornado threat. I won't be surprised if they add just a little 2% tornado risk. So all things are possible in this area. I think this could be pretty significant. Water spouts would be possible outside of this once storms move off. Let's now go to our second slight risk. This one is a big one and a creepy one. This literally looks like a scary face. Look, he's too yellow. Looks like a scary face. And this kind of being the smile down here. I mean, kind of. That's actually a good idea for the thumbnail to put, Okay. Alright, let's talk about the second level 2 out of 5 slight risk. Martin, Rushville, south side of Rapid City. Never mind. It's like a tip of Rapid City's in that. Valentine Island, North Platte, Lexington, Broken Bow, Grand Island, Lincoln, Nebraska, west side of Omaha. We're in that, guys. Salina, Lincoln again in Nebraska, Grant, Minneapolis in Nebraska, or Kansas. So yeah, interesting, names that are in different states that are not supposed to. I mean, there's 2 Lincolns in Nebraska. What the heck? All right, let's now go to our last slight risk for severe weather. Green Bay, Appleton, Oshkosh, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, of course, Illinois in this, Rockford, Chicago, Joliet, Davenport, Guilford, Peoria, Joliet, Ottawa, Singapore, Streator, Bloomington, north side of Springfield, and Decatur. We're all included in that, so we need to be ready. And in the middle with our marginal risk, it's Omaha, Quincy, Kansas City, Columbia. So yeah, let's now talk about the tornado risk. Guess where it is? Illinois! Woohoo! Illinois, you guys can't catch a break. I'm very sorry that. And there's a 2% tornado risk. Also, Wisconsin's included. Let's start back up north. Port Washington, Juneau, Minot Falls, Sun Prairie, Madison, Fitchburg, Jefferson, Milwaukee, Janesville, Kenosha, Waukegan, Freeport, Mount Carroll, Morrison, Oregon, DeKalb, Singapore, Aurora, Joliet, Morris, Ottawa, Streator, and Chicago, of course. Well, for someone who lives in Illinois, I live in northern Illinois, okay? I live like right here, right in the middle of Cook County. I live like right near O'Hare. And I know how these storms be. I've been under about, I don't know how many tornado warnings, but it's been crazy. So yeah, the tornado risk will be pretty isolated today. We could get it. I think this won't be the biggest tornado day today. But yeah. All right, let's now talk about our wind threat. Let's start back over here. 15% wind threat for that slight risk. 60-mile-per-hour winds up to 70-mile-per-hour winds are possible out here. And probably not up to destructive level, but I mean they could. And let's go back out over here. Same here. I think up to 60 to 75 mile per hour gusts for this one. I think we can have a pretty significant wind-driven threat today. We get isolated winds and stuff. Joliet, Ottawa, same slight risk. Then we get some isolated. And our hatchers, this is what they're more confident for 75 mile per hour wind gusts. 75 mile per hour wind gusts will be possible in this hatchers, and outside of that, it's going to be up to 60 to 75 mile per hour gusts. Lincoln, Grand Island, Broken Bow, North Platte, Lexington, Alliance. We need ready for that. Let's not go to the hail threat. Is this it? Wait. Oh, yeah, it is. Alright. So, yeah, we just have a 15% up here, up to quarter size ping pong. Not anything near 3 inches or anything. And we have our hatchers, that's just hen egg size here, which can be up to 2 to 3 inches. North Platte, Lexington, Grand Island, allowance, we're included in that. So I need to be taking precautions on that. Alright. Let's now go to the next day of severe weather. We have 4 marginal risks. Let's start back in the wild west compared to some swimming from Louisa Butte. We're under marginal risk. Cheney, Fort Collins, Denver, Rapid City, and Gillette. We're including that. And Little Rock, Hot Springs, Conway, Jonesboro, and Memphis. We're including that. And our last one up here for Detroit, Columbus, Cleveland, Erie, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Maysville, Lexington, Pikeville, Beckley, Elkins, Morgantown, and Pittsburgh. So that's a lot of spots. Let's now go to the tornado threats, which is a 0. The wind threat is only at 5%, and the hail threat also just being at 5%. Day 3, just a marginal risk. So let's now go to the timing of severe weather. Alright, so let's start out about like right now-ish. We already say we already have isolated supercells trying to form. This will improve our atmosphere for more significant severe weather. So if we saw this, so we did see this, this is like right now. This is true, and this is going to isolate our threat for severe weather today. If this line does get into Chicago, it'll definitely isolate that threat. And we have isolated storms down here in Knoxville. Look at that. Look at that supercell. Benny supercell's trying to form out in the ocean. We still got those storms coming out from the ocean. So, and that's a lot. So let's now go up. We also have isolated supercells down over here trying to form in Oklahoma, Kansas into Oklahoma into Texas also. Let's go now to 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. This system's starting to form into like a line. The line's trying to form. So this line being there is going to be something. This is going to be your line for the severe weather. Half of it's probably already going to be. Half of it's probably already be over the lake or starting to be over the lake, which will be marine warnings probably there for you guys. And that line starts to get into Illinois a little bit, but it does kind of stop, okay? And this is not going to prime our atmosphere for severe weather down here since we did just get those storms into Illinois. It'll spread around the air into Cook County, so this is in Lake and Henry counties, and eventually make it into Cook counties, or Cook County once it gets down there with the air mass and stuff. So it'll still be primed. Where else? We got some isolated cells moving out of, moving into Virginia, I think that is. Yep, Virginia. And we have an isolated just supercell that's producing hail down here in North Carolina. So that will be pretty crazy. So let's now go up a little bit to around 5 p.m. So we have just a bunch of scattered to numerous supercells out here with a little bit of a line trying to form. About to head into the UP of Michigan. This will eventually head into Canada. We already have storms coming down out of Canada, which you'll get a second round. If you round over here in the UP, or if you're like right here in Wisconsin and Ashland, you already got cells coming out of Canada. We have a pretty significant line of supercells at 5 p.m. So I think this is going to turn on that switch for us to go live. And I'm being honest here. This is definitely going to turn on that switch for us to go live. All right, I mean, look at this line, dude. I mean, we're producing many big time stuff. We might, yeah, we're gonna have to watch for this day by day. And look at this. We got just many supercells. We got a little bit of supercells out of there, supercells over there. Supercells even over here. These won't be as strong though. And we got isolate just scattered to newer supercells. This is what's all gonna produce. This shows that it's still priming our atmosphere. This could become our line though. But this is just showing that it's starting to prime our atmosphere, and that means we're going to have about 10 to 11 p.m. storms tonight in the Chicago area. Let's go up a little bit more to 7. So now we have storms. They're not even in a line, but we do have an isolated supercell over at Highland Park, Northbrook, and Winnetka. we have an isolated supercell. In Davenport, we also have Rockford, Janesville, whatever that is, Milton Junction. So yeah, let's now go up a little bit more. So now that becomes a line. That's the end of the 00 hertz. This will eventually become a line. And this will crash into Chicago and make it all the way into like Toledo, Ohio. Alright, so that's the 00 hertz. Alright, let's now go to our tropical systems. Tropical cyclone formation. So we have many areas of tropical weather. Like over here, we have a tropical form, we got our category 5. This is a 60% for tropical weather, which I agree. We have a 20% out here. We have 2 areas. We have this out here, which looks pretty interesting. And we have this one right off the coast of Spain and Portugal. So yeah, so a couple tropical wave systems that will come in, eventually make its way into Toronto area. It's probably gonna go up into like Maryland and stuff. So we're just gonna be watching out for that, and just storms out here. All right, we need to now talk about our temperatures. So let's get to it. All right, so we're gonna check our heat, because it's gonna get pretty hot in the western half of the U.S. and the southeast. Down in the U.S. We do have a high risk of extreme heat. You guys can't see it. We'll show it after. But let's start off. So right now let's start off right at the bat. Oh, I know, that's last night. Sorry. Let's go to around 8 a.m. this morning. It's going to still be pretty cool up here in Chicago. This is like right now. It's starting to warm up. Won't be as hot. It's already starting to get hot in Oklahoma City, up to 81 degrees. It's going to be frigid still here too. 55, yeah. But yeah. Going up a little more to around 11 p.m. So this is, or 11 a.m. This is when schools start around like 9, 10 a.m. Los Angeles, it's already starting to heat up 100 degrees already. And it's only 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. actually. Chicago, it's going to be still a nice 74. It's going to be pretty 96 up there. Fort Worth, 88, 95. Going up a little more to like 3 p.m. This is when it gets hot. So it gets up to 105 in Oklahoma City. Norman is also, it says 105. This is like deadly heat. I'll tell you that right now. 105 is crazy. 67 up there. They're gonna have a load of Chicago. You're gonna have a load of a cold front coming in, as you can see. That cold front will be coming in. It's gonna be cool out there, man. At 3 p.m. This cold front's gonna make it frigid, dude. Wow. Never seen it get that cold. This is what's gonna produce our tornadoes and stuff. By the way. And it's gonna go out a little more about the 3 a.m. though. We don't get to that. Let's go back up to 3 p.m. tomorrow. 4 p.m. It's cooling down a little bit. 98 degrees. It's still pretty hot out here though. Won't give you that. It's still gonna be pretty hot. Lake Michigan, cooler. Gonna get pretty cool. It's gonna get pretty cool. Isolated. It's gonna get pretty hot, and then fast forward all the way to the end. 8 p.m. It's gonna start cooling down. It's gonna be hot out here, dude. Oh my God, 114. Guys, this is crazy. Mexicali, 114. This is what's gonna cause heat strokes and stuff. You guys need to take this with a precaution. Try to stay inside if you have air conditioning. But man, it's gonna be crazy. That's why there is a moderate risk of extreme heat down over here. We have a moderate up here and high risk down over here, and just a slight up here. So that's pretty much all the weather talk I have for you guys today. Make sure to stay tuned for the live stream. We will be on standby mode tonight. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the heat, especially if you're in Mexicali. We just saw 115 degrees on the models. Could be hotter, could be cooler. Who knows what's going to happen. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. This is our radar right now. Tropical storm, or severe thunderstorm warning observed. Take that with precautions. I'll see you guys tomorrow or later. See you guys. Peace.